So there's a way I think is really easy. I'll be honest, my daughter is doing sort of the same thing in a way right now. And I tried to show her yesterday the way I like doing these, and it totally confused her. So I don't know.
Oh,
I'll show you the way I like to do it. And
okay.
it makes sense to me, but maybe there's something a little more subtle about it than I give it credit for. So let's just take one of these. Let's take one of these that's probably a little more crazy, like teaspoons per pound to fluid ounces per kilogram, right? So let's try one of those, right? And then we'll do this one too, because these two are both have their own sort of weirdness.
Yeah.
I think this was set up to be very much like the ones in the exam. Okay, so I'll show you what I do. Okay, so let me scoot this over so I have sun under it right here. So okay, so here we are. So I'm not even going to worry about the numbers at the moment. I'm not even going to consider what the numbers are. So this is my way of doing this. This by the way is a completely brainless way of doing this. Let me see if I can share these screens somehow better. Let me scoot that over there. Put that over there. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Okay, so teaspoons. We start off. And I got to scoot this over. Okay, we'll start off with a teaspoon per pound. Okay, and then I want to get to fluid ounces per kilogram, right? So now I want to just start playing with these things, right, until I end up over here with fluid ounces, per kilogram, right? That's what I want to end up with on the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I just need to figure out what to multiply by to cancel things out, right? Now I'm restricted a little bit to what I have in my table, right? So there's a certain table up there I have to restrict to.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want kilograms in the bottom. I've got pounds in the bottom. So let me see if I can get between pounds and kilograms. I mean, basically what you do is you want to find ratios between the things in the same place. Like these are both in the bottom, and I want to find a ratio that relates those two things, right? And I'm pretty sure we have that one. Okay, so someone else is going to join in and get to hear it here. So here I have pounds and kilogram right there, right? Okay, so I'm going to have pounds and kilograms. So here's the way I do it, right? I say, okay, so this is pounds up here, and I want kilograms down here, right? And the reason is because I want kilograms on the bottom, and I want to be able to cancel out these pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just treat these things like they were variables. And maybe this is the reason it doesn't work well for a person who's just learning algebra to sort of treat these things as variables. That's maybe a little more subtle than I give it credit for, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm doing, right? And so we start with teaspoon per pound, and now I'm just sort of treating these things as variables and canceling things out. But I want the fluid ounces on top. Okay, so can I get from teaspoons to fluid ounces? So I guess there's two things to do. So from teaspoons I can reach milliliters, right? You sort of see from teaspoons I can reach milliliters. And then, but I don't think I can reach fluid ounces directly from, fluid ounces only shows up here, right? Mm-hmm. And so I can't reach teaspoon, but I can reach milliliter, right? Mm-hmm. So that's good. I can go teaspoon to milliliter to fluid ounce, right? So I can get that little chain of things going, right? So here what I'm going to do, I want to get rid of the teaspoon, right? So so on the bottom now, I want the teaspoon because I'm going to cancel that, right? That's the idea. And up here, what I could do with the teaspoon is get to milliliter, right? And that's here.
So now you have milliliters over kilograms.
Now I have milliliters over kilograms. That's what's left. That's right. So I'm sort of not writing that, but that's right. And then I could get from milliliters to fluid ounces. So now I'm going to put milliliters down here so that I can cancel that and get fluid ounces up here. And then I'm done, right? So then I've got then the only thing left is fluid ounces over kilograms. And that's what I want at the end.
Okay.
Right? So now that I've done that, I'm literally just going to go back into my table down here and write that down. In other words, I'm going to write down the units. I'm going to fill out this part before I even look at this part, right? So here I went LB per kilogram is one of the things I'm going to multiply by, right? And then the next thing I'm going to multiply by is ml per, what was it, teaspoon, right? And then the next thing I'm going to multiply by is fluid ounces per ml, right? So right, I'm just literally copying these things down, right?
Yeah.
And the order doesn't matter, right? I could change the order, right, in these guys. And that's the reason I didn't have this. So this page, the DQ is self-grading, but I can't sort of self-grade that because the order could be different. And,
Yeah.
Excel's not quite smart enough for me to make it like ignore the order, right? That's asking a little bit too much. But no, here all I do, so I want pound over carat, so it equals, right? And I want pound over kilogram. So I literally just come up into this table and I say, well, where's that? So I want pounds divided by kilograms. I'm not even going to worry about the fact that one of these is a 1, right? Now you don't want to click on the letter. You don't want to click on the words. You want to click on the numbers, right? That's
Correct. Yeah.
right. And then the next thing I want is milliliter per teaspoon. So here again, you do the equals, right? And I come up here and I find my milliliter on top, teaspoon on bottom, right? So like that. And then the next one down was fluid ounces per milliliter. So I put my equal sign. And then I do, where is that? Fluid ounces per milliliter, like that. Like that. And there's my conversion ratios, right? Notice I haven't really thought about anything, right? I mean, this is kind of like a game, right?
Yeah, this is more straight. My problem was figuring out which ones needed to be converted. How did it get from, teaspoons per fluid ounce, I'm sorry, teaspoons per pound to fluid ounce per kilogram? That's where I was getting confused.
Yeah, and it's just this game, right? This is the thing, right? So I mean, I'm not sure if there's a better way of writing it, right? I mean, our track from teaspoons went from teaspoons to ml to fluid ounces, right? You had to be able to find the things in the table, right? And you had to find the ratios between those, right?
Yeah.
At the bottom we had pounds to kilograms. So you had to sort of track your way through the table. This is kind of like a little graph, like how do I get from one thing to the other, right? And then the rest is just sort of how to put them together, right? Like this, right? So like this little graph turns into multiply by LB over kg. And you determine the order just by what you want on the bottom and what you have on the bottom to start with, right? It's sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's just sort of a game.
Oh yeah, this is makes more sense now. I think I needed it explained to me.
Yeah.
In order to understand it.
Sure. And then here we just times. Let me check. Let me make sure I did it right. It should turn green if I did it right. And there we go. Got it.
Got it.
Yay. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can do all the rest the same. Let me make one comment on this one over here. Let's see. Now that I've done this, how do I get rid of? Let's move that. Okay. So one comment on this one over here is we have this. We start with feet squared, and we want to get to. Let's see. We want to get to square meters, right? So we start with square feet, but we want to get to square meters. So along the way, I mean, sort of an obvious thing. Let me do the obvious thing and show you what the problem is in terms of our table. So we have ounces per square feet, because you run into the same thing in the major assignment. Let me just make some clear space. So we start with ounces per foot squared, right? So sort of the natural thing to do would be to do foot squared per meter squared, right? Because then those will cancel and we sort of take care of that. The problem is we don't have a foot squared to meter squared conversion, right? So the way we make you do this is we make you do it one at a time, like that. All right, so you actually will have two items in your table. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you'll have two of the same. So here you start with this, and then to get rid of that foot squared, you actually have to use both of those. Right, so this is a subtle thing about this table, because if you were doing this by hand, you might do this slightly differently. So we would end up with foot over meter here in this table here twice. Right, so like that, we'll actually have it in there twice, right? And then when you
in the major assignment, I think you said one of them is repeated. I think you gave that hint, but I didn't understand what that meant.